right now. Hola y bienvenidos. Hola y bienvenidos. Hello and welcome. I do the recording so that if you want to go back and listen to something again, you can, so that if for any reason you cannot attend or have to leave class early, you can go back to the YouTube recording and watch. And I have that happen quite a lot. So if for any reason you don't need to let me know ahead of time, hey, I won't be there, because you can just go back and watch it as you will. I try to upload that video within about a 24-hour period. YouTube does their processing things, so it takes a little bit of time. Para que sepan, just so you know, para que sepan. Bien. Ok. Vale, magnífico. Vamos a empezar. We're going to begin. This is a little bit of a learning curve for me, not because of Zoom necessarily, but because this class is under normal circumstances, a very, very hands-on class. So this is the first time this particular class has run on Zoom for me during our stay-at-home period. And normally this is the kind of class where I bring in surprises every week. And that will be a little harder to do on Zoom. So, you know, bear with me a little bit on that. There will be times when I send you into what we call breakout rooms, which means you'll be cordoned off into a separate screen with one or two other people to do some practice. And then it will tell you when you're coming back in. So that will happen from time to time, where I will send you off into smaller groups to work on practice. And when that happens, it will be a situation where you're practicing pronouncing words, and you listen and help self-coach each other. Today will be a little less of that, but under a normal class, it will run that way. There will be a lot of times when I share videos with you, when I share screens with you. You can always type things in the chat box. There's a chat box for those of you who are not familiar with Zoom. At the lower part of your screen, there should be, or the upper part of the screen, I think it's in the lower part of your screen. It varies a little bit depending on if you're working on a tablet or a computer. Always turn on your chat box. You can type things in just to me, or type in things that everybody can see. And one other thing I always want to tell people, anytime you want to interrupt me with a question, feel free to go ahead and do that. That's okay. And there is no such thing as a dumb question, especially with foreign language, because it's foreign. So, you know, yeah, you will have questions from time to time. Vale, bueno, no hice una clase de inmersión. This is not an immersion class, mainly because immersion is great. Immersion would mean that I speak to you only in Spanish 100% of the time. I don't do that because this is an hour and a half once a week. If you're in 5 days a week, that makes a lot of sense, because I can reinforce the repetition much more easily. But once a week, I don't do that. And today is an introductory lesson, so there's going to be more English than you'll probably hear any other time today, just so we get familiar. I am going to share a screen with you right away to show you ¿dónde está? Where is my screen? Here it is. I'm going to show you a little screen. Oops. Get all my buttons lined up. Can you see my little screen with the little green owl?
Yes.
Pueden ver. Magnífico, magnífico. Okay, está bien. This is, so this is kind of our orientation thing. This will probably take a good 20 minutes. This is available either as an online, I prefer it online, web-based versus app-based. You can't, this is called Duolingo. This is the little green owl, the infamous green owl. They've started to advertise him a lot. in the last month or so. Duolingo, and Duo is the little green owl. Duolingo is a very helpful app. For learning languages. It looks like this. It has little modules with all different kinds of topics. Duolingo, I prefer, if you choose to use that, do not pay. It will ask you to pay, of course, but don't do that. Why would you do that? I prefer the web-based, which is just www.duolingo.com. I prefer that to the app for a number of reasons, but if you're an app person and you just love apps, okay, go ahead with that. There is a growing trend with Duolingo to ask you to spend $14 a month, which if you dearly, dearly want to part with that 14 bucks a month, that's your decision. I don't. I've been using it for a long time with French and with German because I decided it was a really good idea for me to understand what my students felt like learning something they know nothing about. And Duolingo is a great, great app because you can spend 5 minutes on it, you can spend 15 minutes on it, you can spend an hour on it, whatever works for you. And it is great for learning vocabulary, building vocabulary really, really fast. Okay, so it will give you listening exercises, little short speaking exercises, and of course you'll be reading on the screen. So it drills a lot of different kind of skills, and I really, really recommend that no matter what you do with the text that we have, you probably spend, I would say try to spend a good, try to spend 5 to 10 minutes a day with Duolingo just to work up, build up some vocabulary. Okay. Bien. That is what I would like to make sure you know about. That is an extra resource. The other resource we are going to have is our book. If you have not ordered the book, I would like you to send me an email or put it in the chat box now. If you cannot, because the finances, get the book, just let me know privately. That's okay. I'd find a way for you to get the information. The book is going to be a really, really helpful resource. And, ¿dónde está? Where is my, I had a very helpful, let me pull up my, okay. And now, of course, I've got notifications coming up, which curse them for doing that to me. Okay. I'm just going to show you a little preview of what the book will look like. This will be a typical page in the book. And, they'll have, anytime you see things in blue or the little triangle icon in the book, that'll show you where the audio tracks start and which number audio track it is. And anything in the blue is going to be words they will speak on the audio track. So you can listen along while you look at these words. So the pages will look like that. And they have little sections where you can write things in if you wish. So the book is super helpful for that. The book does a lot, we'll use it as a reference, but will not march through it lockstep. The reason for that is I take things in a somewhat different order than the book does, but we'll use that kind of as a base of operations. Okay, bien. Okay, we're going to start from basics. I had sent out a video for most of you to watch. It was kind of a longish video. 19 minutos, 19 minutes, yeah? But she has a really, really super introduction for listening. So listening to sounds, the basic pronunciation. And we are going to go through some of that now. So if you printed off the page I sent you a little file that has vowels. If you've got that handy, I'd like you to pull that, or if you're one of those savvy people who knows how to pop two screens at once, and if you saved it as a file and want to bring up the two files and want to zoom in one screen and look at the file in the other, that's cool too. But I'd like you to take a look at that. We're going to start with pronunciation because basically Spanish is such an incredibly phonetic language that if you know what sounds each letter makes, you can basically sight read everything and understand how everything is pronounced. There are only two letters in the whole language that go silent. And one of them is always silent. The other one is occasionally silent. So it's highly, highly phonetic, unlike English. And once you know the sound system, what sounds all the letters make, it will be very easy for you to follow along in that book and start to train your ear. Our English brains, we are so ingrained to filtering everything through what we understand from English, which we grew up with, that it's really, really hard to turn off your brain being wired into English. So, if you were a person who grew up with English as not your first language, but a second language, this will feel a little more natural. If you grew up speaking only English and you never learned another language in high school, that ability to turn off the way your brain is wired will be something you have to fight through pretty much constantly and get comfortable with being uncomfortable. But I would like you to pull up your pronunciation page, and I'm going to flip through and share the screen with that right now. So I'm going to put my share screen up so you can see this page right away. Aquí vamos, here we go. I want to get you familiar with vowels today and then greetings. Vowels and greetings, vowels and greetings. And when we end our session with vowels and greetings, I'll give you some homework to do to follow up on that during the week and get ready for what we will do next week. Okay. Las vocales. And these vowels, by the way, you're going to be saying them for me just one-on-one as homework later. Okay. So, pueden ver. Can everybody see this? And it helps to have your printed page if you've got it. A. La letra A. The name for this letter is not A, it is A. 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 Okay, bien. The vowels in Spanish are shorter. What I mean by that is we in English drag a lot of vowel sounds out. The letter A, as if you listened to that video from Super Holly from last week, we've got a whole bunch of English sounds that can be represented by that letter A. But in Spanish, the only sound it ever makes 100% of the time is A. A. And it's really open. And it starts way back here in the back of your throat. A. Okay, but it's shorter. It's not ah. Okay, it's ah, like the aunt and father. Okay, so I would like everybody to repeat these with me. So I want to hear you all. We have to get used to getting our teeth and lips and mouths and tongues used to saying these sounds. So it doesn't matter that you know what these words mean, although I put in parentheses what they mean, but just practice the way these words sound. And we're focusing just on that ah sound. Cama. Repitan, por favor. Cama. Cama.
Cama.
Bien. Drama.
Cama.
Planta.
Drama.
Abra.
Planta.
Mapa.
Abra.
Gafas.
Flaca.
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 Patata.
Batata.
Santa.
Santa.
Blanca.
Blanca.
Calma.
Calma.
Casa.
Casa.
Banda.
Banda.
Bien. Okay. There are our sounds. Okay. Just always Bien. Okay. What I would like to do is to send you off. We're going to do a little trial run with the breakout rooms. Ooh, I'm going to send you out into groups. ¿Cuántos somos? How many are we? 9, 9. I'm going to send you out into groups of 2. And I want you to practice with your partner. One person say one word, the next person takes the second. Just go through those as fast as you can. Now, here's what I want you to listen for. You're going to coach each other. So you can feel what this looks like. So I'm going to preview where you're going to coach, because people, their brains are wired to think in English. They may look at the word blanca, and because you're so heavily wired in your English, they may say blanca because they're thinking blank in English. Yeah. And if you hear your partner say something like blanca instead of blanca, I want you to stop and very gently say, I think you need to tweak that one a little bit. And instead of blanca, it's going to be a blanca. So do you understand where I'm coming from here? You're going to kind of coach each other. And I'm only going to send you off for about a minute. So I want you to rifle through these really, really quickly. Bien? Good? Vale? Okay? Bien. Okay. I'm going to send you off into breakout rooms. And normally I will pop in and check on you during breakout rooms. But because these are short and fast, I will not break off. I will not probably check on your rooms today. Let's see. Ooh. I need to. Ooh. I see that they have changed my controls somewhat. How fun. Okay. Oh my. You know, I'm going to tell you, this is normally a very seamless thing. And for some reason today, it is not very seamless. And I do not know why. Wow, I am going to have to double check. I think I've got something wrong with my controls here, folks. Yeah. Okay, normally it does this for me. So bear with me, please, as I make Zoom do what it was supposed to do on its own. Ha. And I promise you that next week, it will do this automatically so that I am not turning my wheels, wasting time assigning rooms. Okay, bien. I'm going to hit the open all rooms button now. You're going to go into a room and you're just going to practice those sounds. I'm only going to send you out there for a minute so you can feel what this is like. You will need to hit a little button that will say join to get you into that breakout room. Bien? So make sure after I hit this button now, you hit the join button. And you should see a little join button now, and you should hit that button and go off and just practice your sounds. Oh, yeah. Wow, you came back already.
Oh, we that A list. Is that all we're supposed to do? The A's?
Yeah, just the ah. Wow.
Yeah.
Did it scoot you back? Did it scoot you back already? Wow, I wonder if I've got some Cox issues. I do not know. No sé. Okay, we're going to bring people back anyway. And it may take a minute for everybody to boot back in. I do wonder if I got some Cox issues going on here, since I've never had this happen before. Okay, yeah, we got folks coming back on in. So you know what it feels like to go out into that breakout room, yeah? So normally, if we were all together, you'd be like pairing up face to face and swapping way too much air and giving each other COVID. So, okay. This will be something that we will do regularly. We will do a little bit less of it today, just a little bit of it today to give you a feel for how that works, okay? But you will have to hit that join button. And, okay, bien. Vale. Okay, we've got and by the way, part of your homework is you're going to go through and you're going to record in a separate website. You're going to record all those words over again so that I can hear you and then I can send you feedback. Bien, okay? Just to hear your pronunciation. Okay, and the pronunciation is important so that people can understand you, of course, when you speak, as it would be if you were doing that in English. Let's take a look at the letter E. Okay, la letra E. La letra E, the letter E. We're going to take a look at E. En inglés, E, o en inglés, E. No se pronuncia E. This letter is not E, okay? It is E. The name for the letter is E, and that is the sound that it makes, E, E. It's kind of halfway between a short E and you know, E and the letter A, it's E, E. Not A, but E, 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 okay? So it sounds like that, E, okay? Bueno, repitan por favor. We're gonna go down this little list. Pelo. Pelo. Pelo, the word for hair. Cable. Cable. Centro. Centro. Este. Bien. Breve. Verde. Bien. Vende. And now we've got two E's next to each other. So that means we'll pronounce them each. So it'll sound like I'm dragging it out. It'll sound like this. Leer. I want everybody to try that one more time. Leer. And this next one is going to have two E's together again. Okay, we've got the word in English, creed, a belief system, right? And that comes from the same thing in Latin as this word, creer. Bien. Okay. Next word, cobre. Next word, selva. Selva. Bien. Okay. We got our next word, venta. We've got our next word, tele. That's a shortened word for televisión. Televisión is the long word, television, but like we shorten it to TV, they say instead of TV, tele. Tele. Okay, bien. I want you to notice something. We've got a word cable, like that second word, and your English brain has to work really hard to turn off. We don't have silent letters like English. So it will never be cable, it'll be cable. When you see a vowel, you pronounce the vowel. Okay? That's gonna be, that's a tough thing for English speakers to do. So This letter is always e. Bien? Okay. Normalmente, you will go off into little groups and work this. Today we won't, because I kind of want to try to hustle through these as much as I can. Hay preguntas. Any questions that you've got so far? ¿Sí o no?
Preguntas.
Pregunta. Okay, dime, tell me. If you have a question, ¿tienes pregunta? No? Okay. Vale. We're going to look at the letter I. This is not pronounced I in Spanish. This letter is called E.
E.
E. And it sounds like that all the time, 100% of the time. But instead of E, you know, in English, we kind of drag out the E. Free, we, I see you. It's just E, E, E. So here's what I want you to notice. Our vowel sounds are going to start back here and they're going to move up till they shoot out through our lips. We had A, we had E, which is seated up here. A, E, E is going to be seated up here at the top of your palate. E. E. Okay, we're going to try these words. And remember, there are no silent letters here. So we're going to sound out all of these letters. Libre.
Libre.
Next is the word for gray. Gris. Gris. Bien. The word for yes, muy importante. Sí. Sí. You'll notice sí carries a little accent mark. That's because there's a different word, sí, which sounds exactly the same, but without an accent mark, and it means something different. That doesn't matter to you now, but just so you know, sometimes you see an accent mark. The accent mark does not change ever the way the word sounds. It may, not in the case of C, but it may shift which syllable you punch harder. Okay, like we say examination, not examination, but examination. Okay, so an accent mark, when you see it written, usually serves the purpose to say, here's the syllable you put more stress on. That's all it does. It does not change the way the word sounds. Here's another word. Okay, we had sí, now we've got me. Me means my, something belongs to me. Okay, we've got a little bit of a longer word now. Pinta. That means somebody paints something. Pinta. Bien. Here we've got a cognate. Our next word is what we call a cognate. A cognate is a word that looks almost exactly like an English word. And because they both came from Latin, it means what you think it means. It is the word for private. Privado. 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 Bien. Next, we've got the word for April, and you'll notice the P is flipped upside. Where we have a B, you flip down the B and you get a P sound instead. Here's the word for April, Abril. The next word is es muy importante. Es muy importante. This is an important word. Our word in English for nice. Nice is kind of a bland word in English. Oh, well, that's nice. Blah. Okay. This word, when people use it to describe you or they tell you you are this word nice, it is actually a really high compliment. Nice has a stronger affectionate feel to it in Spanish than it does in English. But here's the long word we've got. We've got 2 E sounds in this word and multiple syllables, and you see an accent mark. So you're going to hit the pat syllable harder than the others. So listen real carefully with this long word. Simpático.
Simpático.
Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Simpático. Somebody looks at you and they say, Eres simpático. Eres simpático. You are nice. Simpático.
Simpático.
Here's something, the next one here, I think this is borrowed from Italian through Argentina, but I'm not quite sure. Anyway, because I know the Italians do this. Something you do when you clink your wine glasses together, your champagne glasses, okay? Chin chin.
Chin.
Chin chin.
Chin chin.
Chin chin. Okay. Vale. Here we got a measurement. If you ever go shopping, you don't buy things generally by the pound. You buy them by the kilo, which is 2.2 pounds. Yeah, so a half a kilo is about a pound. But we've got kilo.
Kilo.
That's a shortening of the word kilogramma, kilogramma, but kilo for short, kilo.
Kilo.
Okay. Oh, yay, the word for flu.
Gripe.
Gripe. Gripe. Gripe. Okay. Bien. Here's a word that has a couple of meanings depending on how you use it. It looks like list. This is a false cognate. Oh. False cognates are words that look like English, but don't mean what you think they mean. A lot of times we've got absolute valid cognates. It looks like an English word, and actually it's something we in English borrowed from Latin. This one is not. This is a false cognate. It does not mean list. It means either ready or that somebody is very clever. It is the word listo. Repitan, listo. Listo. Many times, here's a word, you may want to star this.
Listo.
You may want to put a little star, a little asterisk by this word. A lot of times I will, next session, or even this session, I will start to ask you, listo? Listo? I'm asking, are you ready? Sí. Your answer is going to be sí. Or your answer may be no. Okay.
No.
Bien. So, listo. Okay. So star that word because I will start to say that word to you often. And now we've got our last word on this list, vista. Vista. And you might see this word on many street signs here in our state of Arizona because we have the word in English vista, but of course in Spanish it's pronounced vista, and it means view. Okay, so we've got a, and notice how it moves up. A, e, I. And now we're going to start moving out towards our mouths. We're going to start moving to the lip area after this. A, e, I, a, e. Fantastico. And we're actually going to go through at least Y today. Probably at least through the Y, which is the Y. Okay, we're going to look at O, U, and Y because sometimes Y. Yeah, okay, so O, U, and Y. We've got O, and O is very nice and easy. It's always a long O, but you know, English drags out the O and Spanish does not. It's always a short O, 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 O. And notice what your mouth does. O, 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 O. Okay, vale. We've got the word for a knit cap, something that is knitted, something that you wear only when it's warm, okay? And that word is gorro. Gorro. Do not worry about rolling your R today. I am going to send you a video to watch about how to roll your R, which is super, super useful. This R thing totally intimidates some people. Do not worry if it takes, you may finish the whole class and still not feel like you can roll an R. Do not worry about that. Do try and do practice. For some people, they get it real fast. For some people, they never really quite feel like they're in sync with it, but people will always understand that you are trying with that sound and they will understand you, okay? So, gorro. Let's look at the next one, which is a cognate. Oh, if it means globe. But in this case, it's not a cognate. This is the word for balloon. Globo. Globo.
Globo.
Globo.
Globo.
Globo. Okay.
Globo.
Next, we got the word for to cost. Costar.
Star.
Star.
Costar.
Star.
Okay, we're going straight down this first column here. Next, we got the word for short in height, like short pants or a short skirt. Okay, short in height. Or I should really put that short in length. I should change that. Corto. Corto.
Corto.
Corto. Bien. Okay. Lobo.
Lobo.
The word for what? Lobo. The word for sun. Sol.
Sol.
And you'll notice with the L, la, that kind of flips between your teeth a little bit. Where your tongue goes matters with that L. Again, that may take you a little while to get comfortable with it, but that's okay. Sol. Sol.
Sol.
Okay.
Sol.
The next one is a word that is really, really super useful. You may want to star that. If you want to tell somebody you speak a little bit, this is useful. Un poco, un poco, un poco.
Un poco.
Little and little bit are two different words in Spanish. This word poco is misused a lot by people in English, and they want to say a little house or a little car, and they use the word poco, and you can't do that. When you mean small in size, it's a different word. When you mean a small amount, this is the word you want. So when you say I speak a little bit, un poco, un poco, un poco. Repitan, por favor, poco,
Poco.
poco. Now I want you to try un in front of it, un poco.
Un poco.
A little bit. Okay, bien, un poco. Okay, let's look at the second column here. We've got fondo,
Fondo.
which means, and our word profound comes kind of from that fondo, bottom, or at the lower end. Okay, we're going to look at the word next to it because it's super short. No.
No.
When you hear no, and no normally comes in front of a verb. That means an action word. Okay. Por ejemplo, for example, no está. He's not here.
No está.
No está.
No
So
está.
no means a negative. It is negative. Okay. No.
No está.
Okay. We're going to look below the word fondo. We're going to look at the word for fat. Oh, yay. Gordo.
Gordo.
Gordo's fat. Gordo means fat. Gordo is often used by grandmas when they do this to their grandkids. Mi gordita, my little fat one. And teenage girls typically don't like to be called mi gordita. But gorda or gordo is often used with grandchildren as an affectionate thing, not really meaning that your grandkid is fat, but that they're a little sweetie. Okay, bien. Next, we've got a word, and here is a word. I want you to star this one too, because this is one that will be important for you to know what this word means very soon. Okay, this is what we call an interrogative, means it's a question word. This is a survival word that you want to be able to express to people when you have to ask for where things are. It is the word for where. It is a question word, and question words always get a little accent mark like what you see there. Here's the word, and here's how it sounds. Donde. Donde.
Donde.
Okay. Otra vez, again, I want you to try the word donde.
Donde.
Okay. The next word is there just to practice our O sound. Oro.
Oro.
Okay.
Oro.
The next one could be important for directions. I guess it depends. Depende. Norte.
Norte.
Norte. Bien. Okay. Norte. North. Okay,
Norte.
norte. The next word, and you may be wondering, yes, tanto forest comes not from that. I don't know what tanto forest in Arizona comes from. It can't be this because the word means foolish in Spanish. So I'm thinking maybe tanto forest comes from something indigenous. I do not know, but it's not Spanish. Okay, we've got the word for foolish or silly, tonto. 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 Okay, and next the word for soon.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Uh-oh.
Tonto.
A ver. Wow, and I'm not on mute.
Oh,
Can you hear me
broke up.
now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I think, ooh, boy, I'm going to hope that Cox does not boot us out. Okay. Bien. Let's try the last two words there again. Tonto.
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 Pronto.
Tonto.
Pronto.
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 Okay.
Pronto.
We're going to look at our oo sound.
Ooh.
Ooh is kind of an 80% sound. I'm going to tell you why. Ooh is a sound.
Ooh.
This letter, once in a while, but maybe only 15 to 20% of the time, once in a while, this letter ooh might be silent. But you will learn like probably next week when it goes silent. Not yet this week. Ooh is usually pronounced, and it always sounds like the ooh of moon or spoon or June. It's always that sound, ooh, 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 okay? When we pronounce it, it is always that sound, okay? So we've got words like this, azul,
Azul. Azul.
azul. And when you see a Z, it will sound like an S, guys. Azul,
Azul. Azul.
Azul.
azul. We're gonna look at the word below that, cumbre.
Cumbre. Cumbre.
Cumbre, bien,
Cumbre.
cumbre, peak of a mountain, okay? We've got the word for pen, pluma,
Pluma. Pluma. Pluma.
pluma, bien. We've got a word that you're going to hear very shortly in a video, and you're going to hear it in the context of mucho gusto, mucho gusto, gusto,
Gusto. Gusto. Gusto.
gusto usually means pleasure, gusto, okay?
Gusto.
When you hear it as mucho gusto, much pleasure, and it's a response usually when you meet somebody like mucho gusto, delighted to meet you. Okay, so
Mucho gusto.
often you'll hear this word together with mucho gusto. Mucho gusto is a retort when you are introduced to someone. Bien? Okay, now we've got the word for flute, flauta.
Flauta.
Flauta. And that ah and ooh, the ah and the ooh are next to each other. You will pronounce each sound. But those two vowels of ah and ooh will kind of slide right
Flauta.
together. Ow, ow, flauta.
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 So when you get two vowels together in Spanish, you will pronounce each vowel. And they will kind of get slid together as much as possible, as long as you don't see an accent mark there. So it's flauta.
Flauta. Flauta.
Next, we've got the word for moon. We have lunar, which comes from that, luna.
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 Next, we got the word for south, which somebody may tell you in telling you directions, head south. Sur,
Sur.
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 Okay, we're going to look at the last column of our oo words. Burro,
Burro. Burro.
burro, burro.
Burro.
Yeah, what you think it
Burro.
means. The next one, cubre,
Cubre.
Cubre.
cubre. Bien.
Cubre.
Next, we've got the word pure here is a cognate, puro.
Puro.
Burro. Burro.
Bien. Next, we got the word for subtle, sutil.
Sutil.
Actually, I'm sorry, sutil, sutil,
Sutil.
Sutil.
sutil. Perdón. Next, we got the word that means it costs. And this is something you'll get in a later lesson where we will practice numbers and we will ask how much something costs. So this word is going to become important in later lessons. And that U and A are both going to get pronounced, so that the two vowels that slide together here are U, E, ue, ue, ue. It'll sound like, it'll feel to you like an English W. Ue,
Cuesta.
ue. So the whole word is going to be cuesta,
Cuesta.
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 And the phrase, the question that you're going to hear about in lesson 3 is cuánto, how much? Cuánto cuesta.
Cuánto
Cuánto
cuesta.
cuesta.
Cuando cuesta.
Cuánto cuesta. Bien, ¿ok? Dos palabras más, 2 more words. Nube,
Nube.
Nube.
nube. Bien.
Nube. Nube.
And last word here is another interrogative, meaning a question word. It is the word for when. Cuando.
Cuando.
Wando.
Cuando.
Our U and A are next to each other. Ua, ua, ua. Cuando.
Cuando.
Perfecto. Okay. So I want you to notice we had our vowels. A, E, I, O,
O.
U.
U.
And how your lips form really matters as to how clear those vowels are. If you get your vowels right in Spanish, that is 70% of the most important sounds you'll have. A lot of letters in Spanish are going to sound like what you think, like the M, m, like the N, n, like an F, f. A lot of those letters are going to make the same sounds. Some will not. A lot of them will. But those vowels are crucial. If you get the vowels right, you've got 70% of the game down and ready to go, okay? We're gonna look at one more thing, because we always say A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. We're gonna look at the sometimes Y, and we're gonna look at the one true silent today. So we're gonna jump around a little bit on this page. We're gonna look at the letter Y, and Y is called Greek I in Spanish. Y, is the name. Y, Greek I. Wow. Okay. I don't know how it got that name, but it did. Y might have 2 different sounds. So this one is a little bit tricky, but not too bad. Okay. How the sound that the Y makes depends on what its position is in the word. Okay. If the position of Y is that it's the very last letter of the word hanging off the tail end of the word, it'll sound like the letter E. It'll sound exactly like that letter I in Spanish, E. Okay. So here are words, and I want you to notice H's never get pronounced. The one and only true silent letter is H. So you will not hear me pronounce an H on this first example of the Y word. And the word is I.
Ay.
The word I is the equivalent in English to there is or there are. That one word, I. Okay. And you hear the ah and the e together. I. This is a verb. And it's the only verb, truly, that we call an impersonal. There is or there are just refers to stuff, things. Okay. So it does not refer to, well, it can refer to a person, but it doesn't refer to like me doing something. It's just I. There is, there are. Okay. Similarly, the H in the next word, we will not pronounce. It's the word for today. And it will be an O and an E sound together. Oi, oi, oi,
Oi.
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 Okay.
Oi.
Por ejemplo, hoy es martes. Today is Tuesday. Hoy es martes. Hoy es
Oi.
martes.
Hoy es
Oi.
martes.
Hoy es martes. I'm going to give you an example of how you'll hear I. Hay un café. There's a coffee.
Hay un café.
Hay luces. There are lights. I just want to talk about these things exist. These things, they exist. It's just there. That's what we use that word I for.
Ay.
I.
Ai.
So I can say, hay una taza de café. There's a coffee cup. It's just hanging out there and talking about one thing. I can use I to talk about lights, more than one thing that's here. Hay luces. There are lights.
Ay.
Okay, so we've got
Ay.
I, muy importante, really super important word. You're going to use that a lot, really, really soon. And hoy.
Oi.
Now we've got another
Hoy.
word you're going to hear a lot because it means very. Muy,
Muy.
Oi.
muy.
Oi.
Muy.
And E are going to slide together. U, uy.
Ui.
Muy,
Ui.
Muy.
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 Ui.
And now we've got a word that uses the Y hanging off the back end that'll sound like an E. And it's the word for guinea pig. This is something, by the way, that people eat in Peru. It tastes like chicken because doesn't it always? Yeah, okay. Es un animal. Here's an animal. Cuy.
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 Ui.
Okay. So if the Y is not hanging off as the very back letter, the very last letter of the word, if it comes anywhere else, it will sound like what you're used to with an English Y. Yeah, ole, que fácil, how easy. So this we're not going to, spend a lot of time on, but it's super easy to do. Mayo,
Mayo.
Yo.
playa,
Playa.
Naya. Naya.
Maya,
Maya.
Maya.
ayer,
Ayer.
Yeah.
ayer, yesterday. Okay,
Ayer.
so ayer, yeah. Fácil, easy, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to back up a little bit, give you maybe 2 little caveats, and then we're going to move on to something different. So backing up, here are all of our vowel sounds. A, E, O, U. And the Y, which is E or Y, depending, right, on where it comes in the word. Okay, these sounds are the sounds that you are going to practice for me one-on-one, because normally face-to-face, I would be walking around to every single group, listening to you all and helping coach you through and answering your questions, okay? But because we can't do that, what you are going to be doing instead is you're going to get a link that will take you to a page that looks like this. Do you see las vocales?
Yes.
Sí.
Bien. Very well. Vocales is going to greet you like this. It's going to ask you for just put your first name in. This is not going to take a bunch of data and send you a bunch of junk email. This is keyed into an account that goes only to me. It's going to ask for your first name. So when you get to the link, you're going to put your first name in and you're going to type your email and then confirm that. And you're going to put your email into this because it will take you to the practice. And I will be able to directly email you from your practice and give you feedback. Okay. So the reason you're giving your email, when you see that page, you click on the link and you see this page, you're putting your email in so that it gives me a means to do one click and send feedback to you on your practice, okay? You're gonna practice your vowels. I'm gonna say leave off the Y, the Y, because that's not as crucial. But these vowels are super crucial. I am not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that it will not allow you to pause. It'll like tell you to hit on a record button, you know, like you're used to hitting a record button. So after you type in your first name only and then your email address and you hit start, it'll take you to a place. So there'll be, I believe it's going to look like a little microphone, or it'll be a little dot. It'll be kind of intuitive. And I just want you to take, I've set it for 10 minutes. You may need 3 minutes. I've set it to 10 minutes so that however long you need, you can take and feel comfortable, okay? 10 minutes is the limit. I will want you to repeat all of those little words I've got on the A, E, I, O, U page, okay? Repeat every word for me. I want to hear your vowels. I will ask you to do that as homework. Let's say do it by Monday noon, okay? You know, so that I have time. If I get it 6 p.m. Monday, I may not have time to listen very carefully to everybody as I would like to. So this is going to be in lieu of my being able to sit with you one-on-one, okay? And I'm going to focus when I listen on those vowel sounds. That'll be my main focus. Bien? Vale? So when you get a link, do know that that is where it will take you. ¿Está bien? Is that okay? ¿Está bien? Okay. Preguntas, questions so far? No, okay.
I have one quick question.
Sí, bien.
On yesterday's word that yay, it sounded like the Y sounded more like a J to me.
Ooh, everybody asked that question. You were going to see later on, there is a double L, which sounds a little bit like the Y. Yeah, that and that is my accent. I have a little twist on that, and it is the tiny. Oh, you remember the movie Dr. Zhivago? Dr. Zhivago.
Yeah.
That a really pared down, muted, soft pedal version of that sometimes happens with my accent.
Okay.
Because of the way I was trained. So you will sometimes hear that come out from me. That will become a more important thing with the letter double L.
Okay.
Which is a separate letter. We may or may not get to the double L today because this is on Zoom, and it's the first time I am doing this class on Zoom. I'm trying to kind of spread out my time a little bit better. But you may hear that. The other sound I want to warn you about, yeah, when you hear a double L, it'll sound like J, but I have a little J that goes in front of that Y sound, J.
Okay.
That's mine. And depending on the region of the person who's speaking Spanish, that double L sound may sound a little different from one speaker to another, depending on where they live.
Okay.
But they will all find different variations of that sound, acceptable, easy to understand, as if you were listening to somebody speaking British English or Southern States English. You know, we all have those variations. Bien. Okay. Buena pregunta. Good question. The other thing you're going to hear, which you may hear if you're very sharp, is that the letters B and V in Spanish sound exactly the same. There's no difference whatsoever in the sound of the letter B and the letter V. And I want you to notice when you say V in English, whether it's pronounced or very slight, your teeth come down on your lip a little bit. V, V, V. I'm very happy. If you have no teeth, it's hard to say the word very. Serio, seriously, okay? In Spanish, that V does not happen. The letters B and V sound exactly alike, and they sound like a B. B, V, 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 V. Your lips go together a little bit, but there's none of this. Doesn't happen. So if you say, wow, the B's and the V's sound the same, they are. Surprise. Qué sorpresa. What a surprise. Okay. Bien, 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 bien. Okay, we're going to work into some phrases now. Phrases and greetings. Greetings. Okay. Bien. We're going to start with one greeting, and I'm going to put a whiteboard screen on so you can see what I'm saying. Does everybody see the white screen? Oh, no. It's not going to let me. It's not going to let me. It's not coming up properly. Okay. This is very primitive, folks, because normally I'm supposed to have a text screen. And now I'm going to write like a second grader because I'm doing this with my mouse. I feel like a second grader. Oh, qué primitivo. How primitive is this?
Mucho primitivo.
I'm supposed to be able to get a text box. So now you got my second grade printing. Una frase. This is a phrase, okay? And that double L is going to sound like j, and not a j. In Buenos Aires, this will sound like j, not for us. This double L is either going to sound like y, just a y, or the way you're going to hear me is a little bit of a j injected in there. So here it goes. Me llamo, me llamo, me llamo.
Me llamo.
You can pronounce
Me
that
llamo.
me llamo is okay. Me llamo is okay. Or me llamo, which is what I do.
Me llamo.
Me
Me
llamo,
llamo.
but very small. Do not do, I suggest you do not do me llamo, me llamo. Somebody will automatically think you're from Buenos Aires. The Argentines do that. But nobody else. Oh, well, okay. Uruguayos, the Uruguayans sometimes do. But everybody else does it as me llamo or me llamo.
Me llamo.
And I used to do this with little kids as a name tag thing. Me llamo means my name is.
My name is.
This is what you use for introductions. Me llamo.
llamo.
But I'm going to ask you the question. Actually, I'm going to say this first. Me llamo Marilyn. Me llamo Marilyn. Me llamo, my name is. Me llamo Marilyn.
Me llamo Juanita.
Me llamo Marilyn. I'm going to ask people, and wow, because, you know, when I see the screen, you guys are in different positions on each and every one of your screens. So I can point and say that person, and 3 of you or 4 of you, it'll be a different person. So I don't know. I could say, wow, clockwise, but that will mean nothing because your screen clockwise will not look like my screen clockwise, if you see where I'm going with this. Oh my God, I'm going to have to do the classic thing of calling on people and make them feel stressed. Here we go. I'm going to ask you the question, since I can't go clockwise on the screen. ¿Cómo? How? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? And, oh, and I'm going to ask with your last name. And I'm going to pick on Nora first, because I know Nora. Porque te conozco, because I know you. Nora, ¿cómo te llamas? You're going to answer me?
Me llamo Nora.
Me llamo Nora.
Should I say it Nora or just
Nora? No, Nora.
No.
A lot of people ask that. What should I use for my name? Marilyn. A lot of Hispanic people, if they read my name phonetically, they read it Marilyn. In class, I was always called Marilyn
Marilyn.
because they would Spanish it, you know. A lot of people, you know, if your name is a non-translatable, like, you know, Juan, John becomes Juan, David becomes David, David. Bien. You know, Danita is just, they would look at your name and say Danita. Yeah, but
Juanita.
whatever your name is, say it that way.
Okay.
Because names are often not translatable, especially if they come from a language that is not Spanish. So, Nora, otra vez, again, we're going to do this. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Nora.
Me llamo Nora, muy bien. Okay. Señor
Me
Barrett.
llamo. Me llamo.
Me llamo, you're right, me llamo Nora. Okay, bien. Señor Barrett, ¿cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Larry.
Magnífico, Larry. Bien. Bueno. Señora Claff, ¿cómo te llamas?
Me llamas Danita. Juanita.
Magnífico, bien. Señorita Mital, ¿cómo te llamas? And I'm probably mispronouncing your name.
No, you're doing it right. Me llamo Nisha.
Me llamo Nisha, fantástico, bien. Ok. Señorita Olsen, ¿cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Lori.
Bien. Laura, Lori, muy bien. Fantástico. Señor Stensrud. Stensrud?
Stensrud.
Bien. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Question first.
Sí, sí.
When I went into Spanish Central and it said the nombre versus llama.
Bien, sí. Nombre. Nombre is the word for name. There are many ways to express your name. And actually, you're going to see that. You're going to see that in a video that will play either now or that you'll watch for homework. We'll see. There are many ways to say I am, my name is. This is only one way.
Okay.
Me llamo.
Me llamo David.
Me llamo David. And David, it's good that you had that question, and it is great, fantástico, that you asked that question, because here's another way you might say that same idea. Instead of me llamo, you might say soy. Think soy sauce, but it's not soy sauce. Soy. Soy means I am. Soy.
Oy.
Soy David.
Soy David. Soy David. Fantástico. Ok. Bien. Señor Van Belser, ¿cómo te llamas?
Me llamo John.
Bien. Y señora Van Belser, ¿cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Noren.
Excelente. Bien. Is there somebody I left off? ¿Alguien? ¿Sí? Oh, Pam. Señora, is it Billard? ¿Se pronuncia Billard?
Lord.
¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Pam.
Bien. Ok. Vale. Bueno, and I will say to all of you, mucho gusto. Mucho gusto. Delighted. Okay. Bien. Vale. Okay. We've got the me llamo off our plates. Here we go. Aquí vamos. Watching my time.
Can I ask a question?
Sí, sí. Claro.
Is it llamo, or is it always llamo?
It's always llamo. Well, if you're talking about yourself. Qué buena pregunta. What a good question. Qué buena pregunta. If you're talking about yourself, it's always llamo. If I'm talking about somebody else, one person, it's llama with an a at the end. If I'm talking to you as a same age as me, it's llamas with an s at the end. That's one of those nasty things called a verb, which may change forms. Yeah. Okay. So, vamos. Aquí vamos. I'm going to share one more screen with you. This is something I'm going to have you watch a video on, but I think we may run out of time to watch it during class. So you know what? That's okay. Está bien. We're going to look at my slides because this is a condensed, a severely condensed bit of information, the equivalent of what you'll see in greater detail and done on the video that I will send for you to watch. And it's about greetings. As I said, we're going to talk about greetings. And by the way, in the email I send after class every single week, you are going to get the exact link to this video. So don't feel like I have to take copious notes. No. Why? ¿Por qué? Why? ¿Por qué?
Porque
No es necesario. No es necesario. Not necessary. Because you'll get the links to everything. You'll see the whole thing, and you can, keep it, save it on your computer, trash it when you're done, whatever you want. Lo que sea, whatever. This phrase, I want you to learn what this phrase means. ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice? I want you to be able to use this phrase with me in coming weeks. ¿Cómo se dice? And you can
¿Cómo
leave
se
off
dice?
the en español part because es obvio, it's obvious. Of course, you're asking me, how do you say it? How does one say? The three words, ¿cómo se dice? Mean, how do you say? Literally, how does one say? You're more likely to express it in English as how do you say? ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice? Por ejemplo, ¿cómo se dice pencil? ¿Cómo se dice pencil? Se dice lápiz. Se dice lápiz. Bien.
dice lápiz.
¿Cómo se dice cup?
¿Cómo se dice?
Se dice, you say, se dice taza.
Dice taza.
Se dice taza. ¿Cómo se dice cup of coffee? Do you
¿Cómo se-
say cup of coffee or do you say cup of coffee? Okay. ¿Cómo se dice cup of coffee?
¿Cómo?
Se dice, you say, se dice una taza de café. Una taza de café.
Una taza de café.
Bien, okay. So whenever you want to ask me, how do you say, ¿cómo se dice?
¿Cómo se dice?
¿Cómo se dice?
¿Cómo se
¿Cómo
dice?
se dice?
¿Cómo se dice? Every 15-year-old I ever taught wanted to say, ¿cómo se dice? No, no es dice. No es dice. 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 Es fonético. It's phonetic. ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice? Okay, we're going to look at saludos y despedidos. Saludos y despedidos son greetings and goodbyes. Greetings and goodbyes. And the video you will see will take it in great detail, but this is going to take the kernel bits of that information. Es fácil. Greeting anybody. Of course, there's certain words you may already know. And this letter H, we never pronounce when H hangs by itself. If it's a CH, CH is the only way we pronounce the H because CH sounds like you think it should, like it does in English, ch, 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 ch. But any other combination that is not CH, any other use of H by itself, lonesome by itself, is silent. So the word for hi or hello, hola.
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 Repitan, por favor. Hola.
Hola. Hola.
Okay, different ways of greeting, which depend on your time. And I want you to notice when you watch the video, they're going to tell you what times of day you can say each phrase because it matters. And it's driven by the sun and its position in the sky. We use buenos dias so you get to high noon. Good day or good morning is buenos dias.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
For buenos. Buenos
Buenos
días.
días.
Buenos
Okay, and
días.
you're gonna notice
Yes.
it's a buenos, and es importante. It's important that that's an O sound at the end. Buenos días.
Buenos
Buenos
días.
días.
Good day.
Buenos días.
We use this till noon. From
Bueno.
noon till the sun is set. So that changes depending on the time of year. From noon till the sun has set, we use this phrase. So if it's 7 o'clock and the sun is still up, they will use this phrase. Buenas, not buenos, buenas. Buenas
Buenos.
tardes.
Buenas
tardes.
tardes. Buenas tardes.
Otra vez. Buenas
Buenas
tardes.
tardes.
Okay.
Buenas tardes.
When the sun is down is when you start to use the next phrase. The sun has to be set for us to use this. Buenas
Yes.
Buenas.
Buenas
noches.
noches.
And you'll
Buenas
notice because this is CH, we do pronounce that it's a ch sound. Buenas
Buenas.
Buenas
noches.
noches.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Buenas
Buenas
noches.
noches.
Buenas.
Bien. Fantastic.
Buenas noches.
Bien. Okay. Next week, when you come back, I'm going to show you picture representations, and you will tell me, based on the prompt of the picture you see, what kind of greeting you would give.
Buenas.
Okay, so this is all your dry run before you do this next week. Okay. Now, we're going to deviate a little bit. One of the hard things to get used to in Spanish, I'm going to take this off share for a minute. One of the hard things to get used to is that there are formal ways of speaking to people and there are informal ways. Or we may say familiar, informal, versus polite, formal. Familiar versus polite. In Spanish or in English, we have you. And when you talk to people, the you is either said or implied, right? When you greet somebody and you say, how you doing? It might be, how are you? How are you doing? What's up? How's it going? If you will meet somebody in a business meeting, you're probably not going to say, what's up? Right? In Spanish, it's a little more strict as to whether you address somebody formally or informally, familiar way or polite way, okay? There is not one word for you in Spanish. There are this many words for you. Fortunately for you, we're only going to practice this many. Because this last one is only used in Spain and nowhere else. Everywhere else, they consider it quaint, very British sounding, kind of highfalutin. And oh shoot, you're one of those people who has to learn like a whole bunch of different verbs. I hate that. Serio. So there is the pinky word for you is called vosotros. You should know that it exists. You will only use it if you're in Spain. So we will not practice it a lot because most people in this hemisphere use these. So there's a word for you for people that you're familiar with, friends with. There are words for you which are formal, which you use in polite settings. And there's plural you. Oh, that's why you got to know that. So here are the 3 words for you that you're going to need to learn to know. The familiar one is tú.
Tú.
T-U, tú.
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 Tú is the familiar you, and tú is used whenever. Here's the rule of thumb. If you call somebody by their first name, you will use tú. If that person is somebody you would call by their first name, you will use tú. If that person is a kid, you will use tú. If the person is someone that you don't know their first name, you're meeting them for the very first time, you call them by their last name to be polite, you will use, instead of the word tú, usted. Usted.
Usted.
Usted. So you will see usted. It is often abbreviated to UD period, but the full word is USTED. You'll see that in your book, etc. So usted is you, but polite you. This is used when you go in the store and you're talking with clerks. You don't know that guy or that gal, right? It's used when you're in a business setting. It's used when you talk to somebody on the street and you just grab them because you need some information like directions, but you don't really know them. It's considered polite. And in Spanish culture, it is really important that you use usted with people you don't know by their first name. It is just a measure of being courteous, okay? If people talk with you for a few minutes and they're feeling very friendly, they may switch into tú mode. And that is a signal to you that it's okay with them. They consider that okay. The last word for you will be ustedes. We take usted and we make it plural, ustedes. And that means you guys. Okay? What we would say is you guys. Okay, we're going to go back to our greetings here shortly. Yeah. Okay, vale. Which way you ask how are you depends on which you use. So, ¿Cómo está usted? Or ¿Cómo estás? Both mean how are you. ¿Cómo está usted? Is formal. ¿Cómo estás? Is familiar, friendly. ¿Cómo estás? Informal. The ¿cómo is the how part. People may leave off the word usted because they think it's understood if they're looking you in the eye. Okay? Or they may include the usted. ¿Cómo está usted? Or ¿cómo estás? Okay? That is the formal way to ask, how are you? A little less formal, but not super informal, is ¿Cómo le va? The formal way. Literally, how's it going for you? ¿Cómo le va? And that will not sound like va. It'll be like va. Va. I want everyone to try this one with me. ¿Cómo
Como
le
le
va?
Va.
como le va.
And when you, ¿Cómo le va? ¿Cómo le va?
Como le va.
¿Cómo le va? Informally, ¿cómo te va? ¿Cómo
te va?
te va?
Como te va.
And I've underlined those little words because those are the little clues telling you polite, formal versus te, informal, familiar way, okay? ¿Cómo está and cómo le va are okay in almost all settings. These last two are super informal to greet somebody and say, how are you?
¿Qué tal?
They would not be used, well, ¿qué tal might be used in a business setting if you know the person, it might, but not ¿qué onda? All right. Here are less formal ways of asking how you doing, how's it going? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal?
¿Qué tal?
¿Qué tal?
¿Qué
tal?
tal?
That is actually okay in most settings, all right? But this last one is very slangy. Onda really means a wave, like in the ocean. All teenagers use this with each other. ¿Qué onda? ¿Qué onda?
¿Qué onda?
¿Qué onda?
Yanda.
¿Qué onda? How's it going? Literally, what wave? I know, because it's slang. ¿Qué onda? But you may hear people throwing that word around. Okay, bien. They're ingredients. So who your audience is, to say which you, to use the correct you, is an important thing. So, you know, this is something that you'll be able to look over a little bit deeper when you read it after class, right? Tú is when we call somebody by their first name, or you're talking to a kid or family member. And even that family member changes in Colombia. I hear a lot of Colombianos who use usted with family members because that's the custom regionally there. But generally they say tú for family members, okay? But for people who are older or in a position of respect, a boss, a person in a store that you don't know them from Adam, we use usted. And that's considered to be the polite way to do things, okay? You might be plural, like you guys in English. Although in English, it's perfectly okay for me to say you and be speaking to every one of you. If we live down south, y'all. It's equivalent to y'all. My friend who moved from Pennsylvania to Michigan, they said it as use guys. Use guys. That's, yeah. Ustedes is use guys. Okay. We want to learn some other phrases that are important here. Polite phrases. Cortés means courtesy, politeness. Es importante, it's important. So we want to practice these phrases together. Please is por favor, por favor.
Por favor.
This
Por
is one of
favor.
the gem words you should always use when you're asking somebody for
favor.
anything. Por favor. They know you're trying to be polite.
Por favor.
Courtesy is a huge thing in Spanish culture. Por favor. And there is, thanks, gracias.
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 Gracias. You're
Gracias.
welcome, de nada.
De nada.
De nada.
There are
De
different
nada.
ways to say you're welcome, but de nada. You may hear it as por nada. You may, but de nada.
De nada.
And
De
the
nada.
D in the nada will sound more like a TH. De nada.
De
De
nada.
nada. De
De
nada.
nada. Nada.
We'll learn different ways to say you're welcome later. These next two words, wow, if I could put 5 stars next to them, I would do it. Whenever you walk up to somebody, you are hopelessly lost. You need to find a pharmacy fast because somebody in your group is sick and you got to go buy medicine. Whenever you approach somebody on the street asking for somebody, always use one of these 2 words, and it'll probably be the first one. Disculpe.
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 Disculpe is the big white flag you wave. Disculpe is the big thing that says, I'm not a gringo.
Disculpe.
I'm not some loser who's uncouth. Disculpe is a big signal saying, I would like to grab your attention. Would you please listen to me? This is a please, I'm being polite, listen to me word. If you automatically use this word, somebody will automatically think you're trying to be very polite. Okay, I say this because many Americans, our tendency is to walk up, many Americans, hey, where's the pharmacy? Not okay. It is always better to lead with disculpe.
Disculpe.
Because people tend to want to help you when you're trying to be polite.
Por favor.
The American reputation abroad is to just gimme, 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 I want information, and that is not cool. So what is cool is to start with disculpe.
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 Hay una farmacia. Hay una farmacia. Is there a pharmacy around here? Disculpe.
Disculpe.
Hay una farmacia por aquí. Is there a pharmacy around here? And people automatically think, oh, wow, you're trying hard. I'm going to be nice to you because you're trying so hard. Okay, so I'm just saying. Okay, bien, 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 bien. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm going to go over time. We're just going to finish these slides and then I'm going to give you what you're doing for homework, tarea. Okay, time to go. If you've got, you're saying bye-bye or see you later, right? Here are ways if you're on the way out instead of coming on in to an encounter. We've got the obvious one we all know, adios.
Adios.
Adios,
Adios.
goodbye.
Adios.
To some people, adios sounds kind of final. It may be final if you're a total stranger. if you're going into a little store that you may, you know, frequent because it's near your hotel or near the place you're renting, you may want to say the next phrase instead of adios. And that is nos vemos.
Nos vemos.
Nos vemos is
Nos
a way
vemos.
of saying see you later. Nos
No
vemos.
Nos
Nos
vemos.
vemos is literally we'll see each other, but it's a see you later. And the
Nos
other is hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Luego. See you
Hasta
later.
luego.
Hasta
See you.
luego.
That is literally see you later. Hasta means until later, literally. And if you're going to see somebody tomorrow, because you know you're going to see them in that
Hasta
same
mañana.
place. Hasta
Hasta
mañana.
mañana. Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana.
So,
Okay.
hasta mañana.
Here is the link, which is in this set of slides, but I will send it to you separately. You are going to watch a video that will show you the totality of all these things with greetings. It is a super excellent video because they actually show people passing on the street using things, real people, and then they have their stage, just the two people talking together portions. Some of the phrases in the video will be really, really long, like you are Johnny's teacher. Don't focus on the really long ones. Focus on the short phrases, like the, mucho gusto, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo se llama? Me llamo, soy. Focus on the short phrases. Okay. At times they will sound like they're talking kind of fast, but they will do what they call a breakdown where they do each phrase slower. Okay. So, tarea, homework. What I want you to do for this coming week is to go into that little site, and I will detail all of this in the email I'll send out. I want you to go into the little website and practice all of those vowel sounds. I want you to watch the little greetings video. And I want you to, if you have the book, go through chapter 1. Chapter 1 will have little audio sets. I will automatically put links in for each audio snippet, each audio file. If for any reason you do not have the book, please email me within the next day or two, and I will find a way to get those pertinent pages to you in a file. Bien? Okay. ¿Está bien?
Bien.
Okay. Bien. We are going to focus a little bit more on that word hay.
Ahí.
Talk about things that exist or asking where things are with that word hay next week. Okay. I am smiling because I'm reading some comments. They're sort of cute. I will ask you to get into small groups and greet each other a little bit, or to greet each other on the screen. We'll kind of seg between working with the whole group and working in some smaller groups next week. ¿Está bien? We're good?
Sí.
Excelente, fantástico. Ustedes son maravillosos. You guys are great. You guys are great to humor me with doing this on Zoom. Come prepared to practice some of these greetings a little bit in class, and come prepared to think about ways we might use that I word to talk about numbers of things or places you might use, like as a tourist, and we'll introduce that next week. ¿Está bien?
Bien.
Vale, magnífico. Always feel free to email me if you've got any questions during the week, something isn't going quite right, big questions, little questions, no importa, lo que sea, whatever it may be. Y nos vemos el martes. We'll see each other on Tuesday. Nos vemos el martes.
Los martes.
¿Vale? ¿Ok?
Okay.
Gracias.
De
Gracias.
nada,
Muchas
de
gracias.
nada, de nada. Fue un placer. It was a pleasure. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta
Nos
luego.
vemos.